Hello and welcome to the Benjamin Zulu Show. Now today's conversation is one that is very close to Mr. Zulu's heart, and just the thought that we're going to talk about, you should have seen his reaction. Put his phone away and he was just there saying, I am ready for this. Now if you've been listening to some of the things that he says on this show, is that we are the generation that needs to end or cut off the poverty mentality, be able to leave something behind for our children, not to bring them into the world to go through some of the things that we went through. Now, the conversation today is how relationships can lead you back to poverty. Zulu. Where do you start with this one?
Please.
You are burning out.
The topic is close to my heart, but the reality, I want it far from my life.
Yes.
I want to save the victims, but it's a deadly virus.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
So it came up, a lady calling me saying she's, I don't know, they're 24 or something, with the 2 children and no job. And yesterday I received several of those kind of. And they usually call when they're in a crisis and they're wailing on the phone.
Oh, Zulu.
Asking what they should do because they went ahead to get married, get children when they don't have the ability to feed themselves. And the one who make them pregnant as a jumped ship. Do you know even running after people needs money?
Yes.
If you approach police to arrest people for
you have to. You have to. It's like, you know, we don't have you.
You know.
Yeah.
And we need to call somebody.
Yeah, we need a bit of motivation, you know.
Come and check on that. Say the people out on.
That's a personal matter. So if you wanted to stop doing a personal matter, you know.
So, and if somebody call you asking for your advice,
yes,
because they're being sentenced to 28 years prison for stealing or for injuring people, and asking you for opinion, what to do you advise them?
So they've been sentenced already. I don't know. There's out of my hands.
Very good.
Yes.
That's what people are asking. You'll ask them maybe now, just hope for a miracle, maybe presidential pardon.
Yeah, go do good work there.
If you have already exhausted the appeal or whatever,
yes.
Now, generally, you just have to brace for that period. Along the way, keep praying.
Yes.
That's why people, that's exactly what these women are asking me. They have just been sentenced because of the action. This person, you tell them, now, I'm sorry, your actions, you should have asked me before you did those actions that brought you here.
Yeah.
We could have discussed what kind of retribution and justice you're trying to look for yourself, what kind of anger, the result of control, what kind of greed and impatience is making you steal. Perhaps could have salvaged the situation. Now it is a bit too late.
Yeah.
And if you've already been sentenced and been affirmed even upon appeals 28 years, I'm sorry. What if they tell you, nah, you're being judgmental. I'm just human.
Yeah.
You've already been judged.
Oh, okay.
Let me remind this generation, we like saying, don't judge me, only God can judge me. Your actions always are evaluated and paid immediately. Hey.
Yeah.
We like saying, don't judge me. Yet what you do is quickly weighed and you're visited with results. We say choices have consequences, but you don't see the consequences of judgment. The Bible is just using a different language.
Yes.
For the same consequences.
Yeah.
When I remember how I grew up, tears come up quickly. There's nothing that can make you cry quickly than how you lacked food when in class 3.
Yeah.
Then now they ridiculed the fact that your skirt had a patch. I wrote it to narrate and plead. I even wanted to go live or somewhere. I wanted where to go live. To plead with them. To tell. So when I wrote it, people were telling their own experiences.
Yes.
And for me, I was telling them, I just remember food was never enough. Food was never enough. You are sleeping in class not because you are sleepy, but because you are hungry. Not every child dozing in class is lazy or sleepy. Some are just hungry. And then you have slept and you become entertainment. They poke you, they put pens in your mouth, they do things and then they laugh at you, or they go to break you go to break, you can't play, you have no energy. You lie somewhere on the grass, in the sun, feeling sorry for yourself, you sleep there, you don't hear the bell, you come to class late, you're in trouble with the teacher again. You needed, they steal your pen, thieves target the weak. They steal your pens, you can't buy new ones, there is no money at home, you are sent home for small money. That traveling, going back is another struggling for food. Having no shoes. This cold weather was always a menace because the stones are sharp. When you walk, they pierce you.
Yeah.
When you are caned in this weather, it's a torture, it's a horror.
Yeah.
It will be so painful you can't even write.
Yeah.
When you did not shave because of 10 shillings, the parent not have 10 shillings for you to shave, and you have to be caned and sent home again to go and shave. Or you take this scissors, somebody to just shave your shoulder, and then you're punished again for and then people know your family is despisable. Some teachers even project the beef they have with your parents. They project on you. Then you go home hoping a miracle has happened. There is food, only to find only the daily chores are waiting for you.
Yeah.
Get firewood, go water the cattle, do things.
Yeah.
Then somewhere towards midnight, when you are done and dusted, just dragging yourself along, is when they'll put together an awkward meal. Maize alone, maybe. Or weird meals that are not really standard meals. Things they just boil cassava, that's what you eat. With the salt and water.
Yeah.
After hunger the whole day, that's what you eat. Or leaves of some weird herb. Rainy season, anything. One of the worst part was the ridicule. Yeah. Because children don't understand.
No, they don't.
Sometimes you are bending somewhere, or you're doing things, you only to realize they've been laughing at you. Because your sweater is not really a sweater, it's strings somewhere you pass through. Yeah. It's cold, you're shivering, there was no breakfast. And you can't ask anybody anything. The fact that you got any kind of meal, any scanty, you don't sleep enough, you're overworked, you don't eat enough. Now, with all that emaciated lack of energy, you're supposed to struggle somehow and study yourself out of the situation. What is that? When you're not fed, thank God for the miraculous USAID food that would come to school. Kids would show up in school higher numbers for the food. The milk of Nyayo.
Yes.
And part of my aim is to feed schools. Just take food to school. To places where you know, secretly, because you are once a member.
Yeah. Yeah.
This might be the only decent meal they can rely on. And how do you fight when you're weak? And that fight is your only deliverance. How? How do you fight that kind of fight? And poor people are very bitter. There's a lot of violence among the poor. At home, there's no peace. Some people, because of this frustration, they go drinking and they come to harass the whole family. On top of all the harassments you had the whole day, they come to beat you up. They're wrangling. And in the midst of all those battles, you swear 1,000 times, you must live a different life.
Yeah.
You swear and swear, God, if you help me to step out. In fact, we are looking forward to Christmas because of the meal, the decent meal. That you can eat too. We even remembered when we ate and food was still seated there. Your memories are the times you ate to the food. My friend. When you come from parents who are decent and human, your memories are the trips you took to wherever.
Yes.
The kinder room. Maybe you were taken to the 7 Fox. No more children remember trips. Children of the poor remember meals. Think about that. You remember the time? I can't forget. That time the food was just seated there. And I remember we are going to dig to till land far away on foot. That's one reason I hate farming. Okay, if you're a farmer, I encourage you to continue farming.
No. That's okay. It's okay not to like it. It's okay.
It was torture for us. You carry your djembe, you get out at dusk, and you go far away, and there's no food. You're supposed to work before you are too tired, you start your journey home. You finish that piece of land, then we are just dreaming, I hope we find food at home, just hope. Then you arrive, you find there's nobody.
Oh, goodness.
You lie in the shade crying. Sometimes you cry yourself to sleep. You talk about daily showers. Shower for who? Where is the water? Clearly the things I saw. The degrading treatment. Seeing your mother wearing torn clothes. And getting to a matatu and they quarrel over fare and you have to get out again because of 10 shillings.
Yeah.
And you have to walk a long journey with her even sad and crying because she could not get the fare for that. Having a child at the back. It's sunny. Having to make uji just with flour and water. That's porridge, by the way. Forget this uji special mixed things you're seeing in your supermarkets. You see that unga you used to make ugali?
Yes.
My friend. That.
With water.
And salt. Now, and you're supposed to take a kid to clinic, I don't know where.
Yeah. And
they don't take anybody to school. Some of them are not really poor, they're just irresponsible. They have a lot of cows, but they can't sell them to educate. They have land, they can't sell it to educate. We farm, but when you farm, the rains just fail. Granaries are empty.
Yeah.
And then you have many of you there. And in the midst of it all, I remember my sisters and my cousins asking their mothers. Sometimes they would, the Christmases.
Yeah.
That generation is seated on that side. And our generation is seated on this side. Then there's an intergenerational confrontation.
Yeah.
You guys, with all these kind of men, why are you still adding children?
Oh. Yeah.
Because there are many you can't be beaten. If you ask that on a normal day, the bitterness will be taken out of you.
Yes.
So, the wait when there are many cousins, some people here were asking, this is a spokesperson to remain safe.
Yes.
And they will always return the same. If I did not get enough kids, where would you come from? Be happy I brought you to the world.
Wow.
You know.
Happy about what exactly?
I remember people died, by the way. You don't hear that part about poverty. Eh? Kids would die of malaria that was treatable, a disease that took advantage of the weakness of the body. Mothers would die giving birth. That's the part they sanitize and hide to mitigate the situation. You could see people so weak, and you know it's not illness. Yeah. Apparently, even those medication, I did not know that medication also needs food. There are people on medication for asthma and other conditions. They need food.
They do.
Before they take it.
They do.
It can actually affect them badly when they're weak.
Yes.
So I saw close up irresponsibility, poverty, neglect, and existing day by day was tiresome. And your only solution? Well, study hard in school and somehow save yourself.
Yep.
When you can't even keep concentration for 1 hour. Mikali, I remember I saw, if I get out of here, for one, even if I don't take other people out, I will not bring my children into a situation like that. Anybody who tasted, and that's how they conversed yesterday as we were talking there.
Yes.
People are saying, you just described my situation. Girl saying, I would get my period and I have to faint to be carried out because I can't stand the embarrassment. Fainting to be carried out when you just couldn't walk in front of class to be laughed at. You cannot explain to the teacher why you did not do homework. There was no paraffin to put on the lamp and write the mathematics exam, the exercise. The pen was finished. The pens were finished. And how many times did they do exam? Did you write exercise in a red pen? And the teacher will cane you. That's the only pen you had.
Yeah.
And the person you're supposed to ask for a pen will kick you.
Yep.
Remember saying, if I get out of here, so we could be herding cattle, and I'm wondering if you sold one cattle. Sometimes in children can also do math.
Yeah.
If you sold one of these, you can sort us buy just sacks of maize. But who will you tell that?
No,
You'll be told your mother has incited you. To be a
hey, there's no winning.
And then there comes an outbreak and the cattle die. What you have been grazing for the whole year is carried away. Just an outbreak, and today there's a lot of chicken, tomorrow they're dead.
Yeah.
Today there's a lot of money, tomorrow there's nothing.
Yeah.
I saw it. I saw the cycle. And because to me it was a maximum security prison. Maximum in that you had nowhere to run to.
No.
It was a prison in that it was deprivation of freedom. You felt powerless. You couldn't breathe. You have no hope. You can't talk. You're suffocating there. It's like you're here to die. Because one thing I saw and I said, because it had a lot of violence, to find poor people who are decent is a phenomenon. It's very few, very rare. The poor folks are bitter with life. They take it out on alcohol and violence.
Yeah. And
I saw and said, if I get a chance to get out. That's why I remember when I finally, through some mobilization and help of God, I landed in secondary school. I saw and I said, I can't believe I'm in secondary school. Nobody could make noise. I was not a prefect, but he couldn't make noise on my escape route. This is prison break for me. Most of you could be just growing up to be given a shop or inheritance. I'm sorry. My class was L. From 1L. I studied in L throughout. There was L and C, leopard and cheetah. Okay. So my stream L. Before we were given any notes, I was reading the dictionary. I was just happy to be in a peaceful environment. And there's food ahead, so I don't have to worry about food. I can just read dictionary and Kiswahili. No wonder I became good in the languages. Yeah. I studied them. Because you have no notes, and people are saying, oh, you're not a PD. Why are you telling you're the prefect? So, excuse, I'm the prefect of my life. Eh? I was told early, because my father sold the piece of land that would have been my inheritance. Take me to school.
So you knew.
I'm sitting on my inheritance.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Don't joke with my inheritance. Eh? This is personal now.
Yeah.
You know. So I developed that sense of being. It was not even enough, even after being so. It still needed bursaries and looking here.
Yeah.
Weekly, the humiliation of begging. Begging. And having to listen to insults before the one who is insulting you helps you. And you still have to take it because you have no option.
Yep.
Huh. They insult you, then you are sent to the shop to borrow cooking fat. You explain, you are shouted at in the hearing of it. You did not pay the other one, your mother, go and take, and then they still give you and quarreling you. And you have to take it in.
Yeah.
Huh. So I saw that and I said, I would rather die than recycle this in my life.
Yeah.
And do I still have urges? Do I have feelings? Of course.
Yes.
But do I have memories as well?
Mm-hmm. You do. You do.
And I get to school and I say, if I don't make it from here, let me die here. My friend, some things you don't need a motivation. You know, some of you need motivational speakers to read. I just have you writing motivational quotes. That would be the greatest. I was not driven by greatness. No. I was not driven by success, just survival. Can I run away from this prison, please? And I hope my children will be inspired by bigger things, dreams, to change the world.
Yeah.
I'm really bringing them to a place where it's dreams and get them out. But for me, it was death. I saw the pangs of death. And every time I felt it behind me, running after me. And many times schools would close, ask the principal. I got to beg him, I realized I'm not alone. We're 15 of us, he has a list. I was asking, instead of going home, I don't have fare. No, you're asking me to go home. I don't have fare to go home.
Okay.
There's no food. There's no fare to come back. It will be a crisis when I go home. For what? Can I just stay around? Don't bother about me. If you just, in fact, we can even, I got two other, okay, we'll write the names here. So now you are 25 of you. Everybody had gone quietly. I remember a time our whole class remained and said, I'm not employing a watchman. No watchman teacher. Don't even tell us about no discipline. You couldn't even tell there's anybody in school.
What?
Sneak with a book, lie down on go eat, tell each other, brother, God bless you. We got to the dormitory. We were monitored by what we were trying to run away from. Many times, and I didn't know I was not alone. Only to tell the teachers about and they can't announce it because everybody now woke up.
Yeah.
He has to do it quietly. So now I have my sons. He don't want to go home. What do I do? That dormitory is explaining now to the deputy principal. Let them use that one, and nobody is monitoring them. If they misbehave once, I'll kick them out.
Yeah.
So we have to monitor each other. We're using one class. Who is opening? Have the key. I remember those vividly like yesterday. To me, that principal was a father. I'm still looking for him, by the way. I would rather stay here and go to that torment. And stay, we read, we study, we take ourselves to church, go out there, and we come back just relaxed. And anybody tries to misbehave like they sneak, why sneak? You are given the permission to go home.
Yeah.
We ourselves will tell the teacher, this one, kick them out, please.
Yes.
They are not settled. They were not decided. They wanted to remain here and look, I don't know for what. Kick them out. That's how we survived. Sneaked around, navigating. For me, it was war. It was a minefield. You can be blown up in time. So I was asking, these people were calling me, telling me they weren't married, got children when they don't have the ability to feed them. I was asking them yesterday, was telling me, oh, this happened, now I'm caught up. Even men are not exempt. No. Many times they are caught up in that situation and they are around begging for food. They already got children, they already got this when they don't have the ability to work. And today we are not exempting the fact that you can still be able to work and sometimes you go through difficult times.
Yeah.
But if you have done things at the right time, those kind of scarcities don't last. Don't last.
Yeah.
We're talking about a 28-year-old prison. 28-year prison. Prison sentence of... So I was asking them, guys, at what point did you forget the torment? For me, I don't understand it. At what point did you forget the humiliation?
Yeah.
It is... We call it to this day, I feel chills when I see a child in the cold without a sweater. To this day, I feel it. When I see there's no smoke in kitchen and this child is hungry.
Yeah.
I know when I... No, by the way, I can differentiate cries of babies because of that kind of experience.
Ah.
When a baby is crying because of hunger, they have no breath. The crying has no energy.
Oh.
When they cry because of pain or discomfort because of diapers or that, the crying is that of asking for help or protest or something.
Okay.
But when they cry of hunger, it's a feeble cry. And there's silence in between the breaths. They go, quiet, then looking for energy again to cry again. The stomach is empty. My friend, I know when babies are crying of hunger. Even today, I can differentiate it. I have gone to hospital and that child is hungry. So I even feel like telling the mother, yes, they've been injected, but that kind of crying, they have no energy. Feed them first. As we talk about injections, can you feed them?
Yeah.
I can tell the stomach is empty. I know the feeling. I've been there. I've been there. Sometimes they're saying this kid is suffering from. I can tell this is mild. This is a massive. This one. No, they are malnourished. Can you feed them? I know it, Mwikali. At what point did we forget and we bring children to the same torment we went through? I'll tell you two. I have seen them. The two reasons why we take ourselves back.
Yeah.
One is thinking it's another person who will help us, who will rescue us. We were told to marry a rich person. We were told to get a person who has money. You're sorted. So, the long route of developing yourself and changing your mindset and praying and stretching and waiting and controlling yourself looks very long.
Yeah.
Look for a university guy.
A university guy that is Zulu who's gone through all of that. Still running away.
And you come to college, and that's why I was telling college kids, continue dating. I'm not about to take away your constitutional rights for association.
Please.
Don't take me to court.
No.
But just in case you plan to come to me.
Yes.
After you start reaping what you're sowing.
Yes.
Let me announce early that I'm not interested. In fact, my warning was it traumatizes me when you take me back there. I can only deal with the first generation, and I hope in my life God gives me enough money to feed those kids the way I was fed by Wazungu USAID.
Yeah.
And I knew the only place to feed them is not home. They sell the food, feed them at school.
Yes.
I know. People trade off the food for other things, for alcohol. Feed the kids.
And that will only happen in schools?
Yes. Feed them in their stomach. They can actually now have strength until tomorrow same time. In fact, that works. Yeah. Give them a good lunch and let them survive. They will be back here good lunch tomorrow. I want to have that kind of system somewhere. Even if it's just one school to adapt and feed them.
Yes.
To do what I wished was done to me. Those periods when there was no food, it was difficult. Even bright kids did not have energy to write.
Yeah.
So I'm asking this who think that you're in college and you have forgotten. The moment I found myself in college, others, it's not the route of college. It's a relative who gives them to assist them in a business, to also learn. You become an intern in a business.
Yeah.
Become an assistant somewhere. Out there in the world, somewhere you're being shown how to earn, how to run away from the poverty.
Yes.
I was telling them, the moment you set your foot, I found myself in Form 1 and people are asleep and I'm just asking God, is it me? Is it me in secondary school? Thank you. I still know the goalpost far away at the fence. Where at the end of every term, at the end of every year, I would just tell God, thank you. A year has ended. I don't know how we got Form 2, but you know.
Oh, wow.
And I finished it, I couldn't believe it. When I got the results I had passed, I remember I sat somewhere on the road. When I got the results admission to university, every step in that prison break escape is etched in my brain. Because I knew that was death.
Yeah.
I was asking them yesterday, why do you believe that another person will come and lift you through marriage? Why do you get to college and you can afford to be distracted? College dating will take you back to poverty through 2 ways. One, the period you're supposed to distinguish yourself. Third, while the economy is competitive and cutthroat. Jobs are fewer than the people.
Yeah.
And they pay poorly.
Yeah.
To be employed comfortably, you must be exceptional.
True. True. That is true.
Being a graduate is not enough. Graduates, in fact, is another city form of poverty. Living paycheck to paycheck. Being paid hardly enough, you borrow. By the time you are paid, you pay the debts, you borrow again.
Yeah.
And you're caught in that cycle and you have no option to release yourself. It is still the same. Poverty means lack, deprivation. It's the same deprivation you are living in. And during that college time, you're supposed to use every single minute to study, every single minute to learn, every single minute to network, to stretch yourself. I always sat in front, all my lectures. I can't afford to mingle with somebody who's not running from what I'm running from. Some had the luxury to take a selfie. There's a girl who used to come with Prado, a big vehicle.
Oh.
And she was very composed. She did not have the pride I hear about rich kids. You couldn't know the car was hers because she would greet you normally.
Yes.
And share study materials normally. That girl shook my understanding of rich. It's an attitude. It's not the money.
It is not. Yeah.
It took me a lot of time to know that car is usually hers. You'd see it around and then just go and think it's one of the lecturers. But she would park at the students' parking. So you see a big vehicle, then it disappears. One day I saw her coming out. By that time we had become almost comrades and friends. We chat easily. How are you? How is it? I did this cut. How do you do this? She talked normally, never showed signs of seniority or superiority, and she's driving the car you dream of. But she also showed me that it's human, it's doable, it's actually practical.
Yes.
Then I had a dude, another big, very funny guy who drive a small Mercedes, that tiny Mercedes Benz. I don't know what they call it, but the tiny one.
Yeah.
So a blue one, then we bring it very near to the class. Easy guy, sociable. That interaction at the university allows you to network and see which other life is possible.
That's true.
What other parents have done?
Yes.
What should be done?
Yeah.
What is the right thing to do? It showed me another possibility. I connected with other survivors of the same prison. Today, one of them is the magistrate. We are still tight.
Okay.
Because we are escapees. On the day of registration, we identified each other. By the way you're dressed, by the way you are tattered. You know when you're coming from war,
okay.
You are not really, the skin can tell. You know some skins are succulent and well oiled. Good morning. Happy to meet you. I come. Where? Survivors of war look like they have just landed and they're trying to size up. They look like they have a threat. But we always say that a threat, you know that mood of on the run?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You know? And we identified myself with that friend of mine. And we said, man, either we get out alive or we die here. If we don't escape, we can't go back there. You know? And we made it. Today is one of the, actually, he's a senior now magistrate. He's no longer just a normal guy.
Wow.
It's that drive that took us out. And we said, I believe I'm here to end. It's like the slavery, the first generation to break out from the slavery. We are the first one. Mwikali, my appeal. The second thing that makes people go back to what is that they are quick to forget. They say, I don't remember that thing, so they remove the mementos and the reminders. They remove everything too soon before they get the real freedom. And maybe, no, that is past. then you don't use every moment to get away. To actually build, that friend of mine uses safety nets. So my friend, our operational word is what? Safety nets. Every level, forget intelligence, get a safety net, get a home, man, get a property, man, safety net, even if you fall through, you will come, one will hold you.
Yes.
So I told man, the only security for us is safety net. Get a title deed, man, get a title deed. Give me a title deed, man.
Wow.
You know,
Yes.
No, let's not argue, man. Cars can ban, cars can disappear. Can you give me?
Give me a title deed.
You know,
Yeah.
and that mantra, that energy,
Yeah.
got us to a place where we can. For me, I know some of you wanted to fly to Dubai. Where it's okay flying. I have no problem with it. Me, I wanted to eat and sleep peacefully without hearing the shouts of the oppressor. Job
Yes.
3 says, there the prisoners sit together. They don't hear the shouts of the oppressor. I
Yeah.
don't hear the shouts of the oppressor. It's me who bolts the door. It's me who unbolts the door.
Yeah.
It's me who eats and sleeps. I want to ask everybody who's coming from where I came from,
Yeah.
stop forgetting too soon.
Absolutely.
You'll roll back there.
Yeah.
You find yourself there, and this time you'll have sentenced yourself to 28 years.
Yeah.
Or your life of struggle, because the moment you have 3 children and you have nothing, a miracle can happen. You can work extra hard, but now you are deeper in the mire
Yeah.
than you were before. Yes.
Thank you for being vulnerable, Zulu.
Most welcome.
So, just before we conclude, I'll just read a few testimonials from
Yes.
that post. And Lydia says, "This was my life. The reason why I promised myself to work on my development first, by all means. I remember one day I fainted, Kapared, because I had not eaten for 4 days. I must break that chain of poverty. I will not settle down for mediocrity." Lucy says, "I hated the poverty my family was in, being despised by the whole society. Felt like hell. I thank God because I managed to fight, and now everything is different." And the last one, there are many, but this is just the last one that I would read for today. Blessed Cosma says, "This has just reminded me back when I was in class 6. We had just come back from our father's burial. I had no books, no pen. I couldn't play. I remember one evening during games time, fellow pupils were in the field playing while I sat far away from anyone, asking myself several questions. And then I looked beside me and saw 2 20 bob coins. I picked, and when we were released to go home, I went straight to the shop and bought 2 exercise books, a pen, pencil, and mandazi." And how we finish, it's very, very, very heavy, this conversation that we are having
You
today.
may not want to believe in miracles, but who brought the money there?
I don't, yeah. Who? Like Zulu keeps saying, and I think this should be in our head by now, that the society we live in now, where we were born in now, is not as easy as the people who live in the West. And the third world economy is a cutthroat struggle. It's either you stand out from the crowd or no one will give you a decent job. That's why we appeared foolish when you refused distractions throughout our youth, and you've told us a lot about that, until you had mastered your craft and secured food security for yourself. Now, feel free to continue running after love and pleasure, forgetting that you have no lifeline. But just remember, the prison of poverty and the cemetery of countless victims is waiting for you. Now, this was death.